Hey everyone, I'm so excited to share with you out of my new book, God, Where Are You? Have you ever felt that? Like, God, why aren't you answering my prayers quicker? Where is your presence? Well, this is a season that we call the wilderness. It is when God seems like He's a million miles away and His promises are even further, like you're going backward. Let me tell you this right now. I want you to understand this. God is not rejecting you. He's not putting you on a shelf. He is not punishing you because you committed a sin. He is actually preparing you for a great move of His Spirit in your life. What is some of the definitions of the wilderness? Number one is the lack of the tangible presence of God. Job was looking for God. God was working on his behalf, but Job just didn't perceive Him. The second thing is the promises He makes to us seem nowhere in sight. So in other words, this is a time where God gives you what you need, not what you want. Okay? Now listen to me. A lot of times we think our wants are needs. He gives you what you need. If you look at what God said to Israel, He said, "And you shall remember the Lord your God led you all the way." So who led them into the wilderness? It wasn't the devil, it was God. All the way these 40 years in the wilderness to humble you and to test you, to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep His commandments or not. So He humbled you. Now listen to this. He allowed you to hunger and fed you with manna. Stop right there. Sounds like a contradiction. He allowed you to hunger, but He fed you with manna. Wait a minute. What? I mean, they had this manna like every day. Do you understand? Elijah had 2 cakes of it and ran like 40 days, 40 nights. I'd like to have protein bars like that myself, the way I travel all over the world. But here's the deal. He's given them the best food men and women have ever put in their mouth, yet He said, "I allowed you to hunger." Now let's think about this. What is God saying here? Can you imagine if when you get up this morning, you eat bread? Then when you come home from work, you eat bread. Then the next morning, you eat bread. No jam, no peanut butter, no tuna fish, nothing, bread. Then that night, you eat bread. Then the next day, you eat bread. You are going to be tired of bread, probably, after about 30 days. Well, these guys did it for years, 40 years. So in other words, God was saying, I gave you what was... I mean, we talk about how their clothes didn't wear out. Let's talk about that one. How would you like to wear the same outfit 40 years from now? Okay, come on. Let's think about this. You've got now 40-year-old fashion. So what is He doing? He's giving them what they need, not what they want. Their scenery was just parched ground and desert. He's giving them what they need, not what they want. But here's the deal. What He was giving them is His Word. And that is why He said, so that I might make you know that man doesn't live by bread alone. What you really, really crave for when you have a relationship with God inwardly is His Word. Now, you may be sitting there going, hey, come on. Israel was in the desert all that time because they were disobedient. No. God brought them into that wilderness for 1 year. He intended them to be there 1 year. You got to remember, John the Baptist was in the wilderness 30 years training for a 6-month ministry. Jesus gets filled with the Spirit and gets led right into the wilderness. Moses is on the backside of the desert. The wilderness time is a training time. It prepares you for what He's going to do in your life. They disobeyed God, and that tells us one thing, and I'm going to leave you with this. You can't shorten your wilderness season, but you sure can lengthen it.